Okay, I think we're indeed live right now. If this all worked, it'll be no small miracle. I'm not a professional cameraman by any means. Y'all don't think that I am. Oh, hold on a second. They have a video playing over here and it's making an echo, messing me up. Pause that. There we go. I clicked on the YouTube button to make sure it was working. Okay, so look, I'll try to make this brief. Everybody knows, or at least I shouldn't say everybody knows, there's a lot of folks that understand that if you're going to replace the SL2500 or 3000 tweeter, that the RDO is the go-to. I have some Polk equipment, and a lot of that stuff has 2500s and 3000s, mostly 3000s. And the RDO is a great drop-in replacement driver, but man, and look, I'm not trying to beat up on anybody for making a buck, but $65 a tweeter adds up when there's this many of them. I'm gonna move the camera around a little bit. Please don't get ill. I'll try to go slowly. But there's a lot of stuff here to, and don't worry about the mess either, because I'm in the process of putting this room together finally. I swore that once I finally had all of the stuff I wanted to do that I would. So what I'm going to do is just a real quick tear down of the driver, show you what you need to do to be able to replace these for $2.96 a piece. And I'll put them up against an RDO. I don't have a problem doing that. Spec for spec, they're the same diaphragm. There's some mounting issues that I'll get into real quick and show you what I'm talking about. But man, for folks that are hands-on enthusiasts that enjoy being able to keep this stuff running for a lifetime, man, I hope y'all enjoy this. So I'm gonna turn around the camera and get it set up over here where you can see what I'm doing at the table here, and my makeshift bench, if you will. And I'll grab one of these guys and tear it down real quick. Sorry for the movement of the camera, y'all. Give me 1 second here. Again, not a professional video maker, so bear with me. All right. Okay, so I'm gathering up a few things because I did not have my shit together here. There's a couple of things that we're going to need to do this. I meant to have myself ready and I didn't. So, failure. Okay, and this is copyright free or royalty free music. You guys can find on the YouTube there just as background music, a little something. Okay, so tweet that. There's 4 Allen screws here. I've already taken these ones out, but I have not taken this apart any further than that. Okay, so plate comes right up off of there. Take it off nice and straight. We're going to set this aside because we're going to talk about that dude in a minute and things you might have to do. So this is the standard TL diaphragm, and it literally is held on with this plate. The 4 screws sandwich this guy into place. There are 4 little tabs in here that have to line up so it drops on in the correct orientation. But it can be off 180 degrees. It doesn't matter which way it goes on. Okay, so for the sake of hopefully not tearing it up, I know this one's bad. It meters out at fucking deado. So excuse my language, by the way. Former Marine. I still talk like one. So I just slipped a razor blade up underneath the gasket and slid it across there just so I could slide this out as straight as possible. And yeah, it didn't come out straight. So here's the rub. I'll show y'all. See that? That's the voice coil. And that's where a couple of different things happen. Number one, after prolonged play, it gets gummy and it will start to hang up. And what that is the enamel that's cooking off the voice coil. So I'll try to get a better picture here so you can see. If you can see all that dark brown, black crap, that's enamel. So this voice coil over the years has gotten so hot that it's done two things. It's heated up the adhesive and the bobbin has released from the diaphragm here. So that's no bueno. That lets the voice coil float around in the gap. And that just makes it get hotter, right? It starts to sound like shit, all that stuff. So there's a couple of things we have to do to prepare for this. This is what they call butcher paper. It's the same thing as a brown paper bag. Yeah, I've done a few of these, so I've kind of got the gauge figured out. But 2 layers of butcher paper just folded over. And if you take that and down in this gap, all of that enamel shit is going to be down in there. So the gap's going to be filthy dirty. So the first thing we're going to do is clean that gap out. And I just take it and slip it in here. Don't push straight in because all that gummy shit you're going to push to the bottom. It'll be a bigger mess to clean up. So kind of spiral it down in as you go. Start spin it around and spiral out. And you can see that shiny, black, nasty crap. We don't want that down in there if we're going to be replacing the voice coil and diaphragm on these. So I do it a few times. I have found that with this particular paper, it takes about 6 times to get any and all of that crap out of there. So we'll do that a few more times because I wanted to go through the whole process with y'all to show you how easy and not time consuming it really is. And I'll give you different options along the way as well. This one seems to work the best. For this part, it's just about the right thickness to slide in there and still clean everything up. Like I said, about 6 times and you'll start to see where there's not much resin coming out of there. It's like an old nasty dirty pipe. So we're up to 4. And then I'm going to keep on doing this, like I said, the whole process just so you guys can see. And then the length of the video will be able to determine how long it takes to do this and whether or not it's something y'all might be interested in taking on yourself. I ordered the replacement parts from China. They are a 6 ohm diaphragm, same as the factory, same gauge of wire, same inductance obviously because it's still a 6 ohm load. And the fabric is a silk impregnated, so it is it's warm. I've got one speaker done there. I showed them to you in the beginning. That's what we were looking at, was my version of a affordable RDO. So here we go. Here's 8 times through this thing. And then the last step, I don't have it up here, so we're not going to do it. But once you get to the point where you're getting like almost no material out of there, no crap, go ahead and make another one of those swabs and dip it in rubbing alcohol. I use the 70% stuff, I think 73, but 70%, that's fine. And just wet and run it around there. You might do that once or twice, and then use more paper till it's dry and clean. And you will see it's dry and clean. The other thing I wanted to point out was this little guy here. This is a felt cushion for the back side of the diaphragm. So if you happen to have one of those that the glues come loose on, if you look at it, try to set it on there 4 different ways. You'll find one way where it just cradles right in to the glue spot that's already remaining there. That way it's nice and straight. You won't have to worry about a problem. And once you got it in place, just drop a drop of super glue on each 4 of the piece of felt. Just one little drop out on the outside edge here. I don't have any of them that are loose this time, but right here, just on the edge. So then this part is ready, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is, this is the gasket that was on here originally. If you look, there's an up and a down on this thing, the way it's pressed in from before. Like the indentation will be real deep on the side that faces you. You can put it on there either way. I have found that when you reuse a gasket like this, if you flip it, you take a real good chance of it separating because you're making a new crease on the backside. So I always try to put it back in the same orientation that it was. But now we've made it to that part, right? So the next thing we're going to do is grab the replacement part here. I'm just going to cut him out of the box brand new. I haven't even got these ones out yet. And by the way, if anyone's commenting on the YouTube, I apologize. I'm not looking at that because I'm focusing on what I'm doing. It is a live broadcast, so folks may be, and I apologize if I'm ignoring you. Okay, so this, oh God, that's so nasty. Okay, let me get rid of that because I don't want to have it all over my fingers. We'll just snatch it over there. So if you look at the plate here that this diaphragm is glued to, it's this big square with these notch holes in it. See these little holes? There's little holes in addition to the screw holes that line up to the 4 pins that stick out on here. So that was my biggest rub in sourcing parts, is how in the hell am I going to find something that still has those detents in it and be 6 ohm, right, without having to call a manufacturer and make 500 of them. So what I started doing was searching other dimensions that would fit the bill, right? Let me grab a pair of diagonals real quick. When these ship, because they're a machined process, they're meant for the end user. So you're going to have a small little bit of tinsel lead here. I know this is not the best camera. I apologize, y'all, but there's a small little tinsel lead hanging out there, and that's where they don't take the time to snip them off. So we want to cut that guy off on each one to make sure that it does not get into the structure of the magnet as well, because you know there's steel that the magnet itself is mounted to. All right, so then the next step of this is to put the gasket back on here, make sure it's sitting where it needs to go. Again, positive or negative, it doesn't matter what orientation you put, but where those where the gasket has dents in it, let's see if you can try to get it where you can, there we go, that reflection, you can see it. I want to line this thing up perfectly with those dents. I'm going to take the new voice coil here, right, and I'm going to slip it right down in. What I found was a diameter of the outside that perfectly was 1.69 inches. I can't remember how many millimeters it was, but to fit in between those dimples. So that way it perfectly lines and it does not doesn't move. So then you have to push it in. It's going to just barely slip into those dents, and now it's on there solid. It doesn't wiggle around. Once the plate is screwed on the front, holds it all together, pull your foam ring, drop it on, it's a done deal. So it will go together the way it's sitting right now. It is going to change the output though, so I highly recommend not doing that. Okay, you can press it down. The difference between these two is the length here. I don't have a great resolution, but you'll be able to see what I'm saying here. So if you look at this tab, it comes out and then there's a 45-degree angle and then it goes straight. Now, manufacturers do shit like this to make it theirs, right? To make it where it's hard to do these kind of things. And this was a tricky one because when this cradles into the plate, it's a pretty snug fit, man. You see what happens there? The plate itself has a 45-degree on the end here. But if you go in here with a Dremel, you can grind that little spot off. And now there's room for it to fit right in. I used a roto zip the first time. I was like, oh, this is just, it's messy as shit and it doesn't save me any time. It wants to heat up the plastic and make a mess. So depending on what kind of little bitty fine Dremel tools you wanted to do that with, that's fine. But I'm going to show you a really barbaric way to do this. Because why not? Barbary's great. Here we go. Excuse me. So, remember these guys that we used to cut the tinsel lead? All right. By the way, it took a lot of consideration to figure out how I was going to do this. Was I going to 3D print these or print a plate and then rip the diaphragm off of the new thing that I found to re-glue it to a new part to replace the original? I finally said to myself, I said, self, if I modify this and I do it in such a way that no one will ever see it, it'll always be a beautiful Polk Audiio cover, but yet it allows me to be able to use these tweeters anytime I want in the future, right? This is the only thing that I have to modify. That's it. So pretty easy solution, right? You come in here, you can see where I am there. I'm going to eliminate this whole rounded section up here, and I'll show you why. Let's see. I'm setting things out of my way too far. I just hit it. Oh, I have another one right here. I'll set that in there and show you. It's the right width to fit in this channel. You see that? But it goes up at a 45. That puts tension on it. Now it doesn't fit all the way to the, see? It doesn't fit flush up. So you have to be quite careful here though, because of the, try to get it here, yeah. So this angle here is cutting into our workspace on the back side. So you only want to take as much material as to be flush on either side of this bevel, right? Try to get it, there we go. Here and here. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that pretty quick. So we're going to cut that guy right here, get him out. We're going to cut at the corner. By the way, like I said, this will be barbaric. It's okay, I promise. The end result will be well worth the $3. All right. So now it's just a trick of whittling, and we'll cut as much of that material out as we want. And then I'm going to use a blade to clean it up. Oh, by the way, this is going to leave random bits of material flying all over the place. Just be ready to clean whatever floor you're doing it on. I'm okay with that though. All right, so we've nibbled down enough to get to the 45 dealies there. They're considerably thicker. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get in there and get them. But once we get to that point, I'll show you a real quick way to clean it up. Again, if you have a Dremel and fancy little bits and want to sit and play with it and listen to the noise of the damn thing, that's good on you. However you want to do it, that's fine. Just be very careful. I almost dug through on the first one, and that's why I quit doing it. I don't see worth a shit, and I didn't want to make a hole all the way through the thing. That's the rub. All right. So I'm trying to do this so it's within camera. If I mess that up, I apologize, y'all. How long we've been running? Let's see. I don't know if there's a clock on the StreamYard. I don't think there is. I can look at the YouTube side and find out here in a minute. Okay, so once you get enough of those knocked down that you think you can go at it with this, then do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna hold the thing flat. You can use the saw as well, but again, man, this is thin. If you go through it, you go through it. I did not recommend that. So this part's going to get a little bit noisy. I apologize. I'm sure that there's somebody out there that's looking at this and going, "Oh my God, they're bulbs! What are you doing?" But these speakers are 30 years old, right? Like they have lived a life, and they're going to continue to live. I mean, even the best human beings I know have had surgery and work done on the inside, and very seldom do you see what happens on the outside when that goes on. So I'm going to love these things the same way I love my friends that have had surgeries. It's that simple. Don't be too big of a purist. You just end up hurting your own feelings at some point or another. So once I've gotten rid of all the big nubbies, what I'm doing is I'm going to run that blade back and forth on this plane right here. And I'm basically carving this down as flat as I possibly can without coming through the front side. Okay. So I'm trying to get some more room there. It's going to be noisy for a minute. I apologize. Again, why am I always sorry, y'all? I shouldn't be so sorry. I've been fighting with some sinus crap the past week or so, so if you guys hear sniffles, you'll know why. But I don't have a donate button, so you can't send me money for feeling bad. Appreciate you trying. None of you tried, did you? You're so assholes. All right, so I'm not so much sawing with this as I am pulling it slightly at an angle, so it scribes the most amount of material off as quick as it can. And I'm just saying that because there may be younger folks that don't use saws as much, but that's what I'm doing. I'm using basically like a real skinny file. So we're almost there. I'm just starting to get the blade out here on the outside edges. But what that does is affords us this kind of space. So now you can see how that, right? It gets right up in there now. We want to do both sides, obviously, because I'm off center, right? But once you do that, that gives you the extra depth that you need. Then, all you do is screw the damn plate back on, put the foam ring on it, plug it in, and enjoy. Where are we at on time, y'all? What do we got? Let's see. Go out here. Let me mute this. Looks like we're not bad. 23 minutes. So in a half hour, you can rebuild one of these for $2.96. I'll drop a link in the comments of this. It'll probably be tomorrow. Just because I want to continue doing what I'm doing this evening. But tomorrow I'll drop a link as to where I got them. I got them. I had to order them from Ali something. Which one was it? AliExpress. It was AliExpress. So they showed up today. Today is what is today? The 10th. Yeah. So they showed up on the 10th. I ordered them on the 23rd or the 27th of January. So it will take 2 weeks to get them, but they're coming from China. So it is what it is. I hope this was helpful. I hope somebody takes this on themselves. I am so absolutely impressed. It is. It's amazing. I love little shit. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Thank you. I hope you have a time with this as well. Okay. Where's the end? End.